Yukon Municipal Authority work session. It's September 5th, 2023. I'm sorry, thank you. At 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers, which is the Centennial Building here at 12 South 5th Street in the great city of Yukon, Oklahoma. We'll start tonight with the financial update by our city treasurer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you, we have the same two packets we usually do. On top should be the deposit accounts page. We'll just go over a few changes, and if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me at any time. The first account listed is our sinking fund. It's where we pay our GO bonds every year. We have an annual payment as well as an interest payment. And that has been the change since we last did this report a year ago, is we've made an interest payment since then. Going down, for the most part, the accounts are fairly stable. And then you get to our pooled cash, and there's a big jump there of about 13 million. And the majority of that is ARPA funds. We've received just last week 3.7 million from Canadian Counties ARPA funds, as well as our second tranche is included in that jump as well. And then in October of last year, there was a refund from ODOT of 1.1 million approximately for I-40 in Frisco. And then also in this year's budget, we budgeted to spend some of that fund balance down. As you approved in the budget, there's 2.5 million in streets for sidewalks on Cornwell and the intersection at Yukon Parkway and Vandeman Avenue. And there's also 2.3 million in capital expenditures as well. Other than that, there's not any real big changes in the other accounts, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those. And then the second packet is our outstanding revenue notes. They're just in order, so we have 2017, 18, 19, and 20. The first two are 2017 and 2018, and we've closed those, we finalized those as well. So it'll look like we've spent more than we received, but that includes the interest that they accrued throughout their life. So on the 2017, just some of the unnamed projects that are from contingency, that includes paving replacements, storm sewer replacements, and as well as the Chisholm Trail parking lot expansion. And as we turn the page, it's the same on 2018. It's been finalized. And then some of its unnamed projects were the Wilshire Bridge replacement and some drainage repairs along State Highway 4. And then there's our 2019 revenue note. It has not been finalized yet, but as you can see, there's not much remaining in there. We have 5 years to spend the full amount. So I believe we have until May of 24 for that one. But some of its contingency projects were the Health Center Parkway turn lanes, as well as the Wilshire Road paving project. And then 2020 has 2.7 million left. And some of its projects that it's paid for were the 11th Street improvements, the Ranchwood Playground, and Turtle Creek improvements. And we still have a little left there for future projects to be determined.
Wagner Road.
Yes, that's been discussed as phase 2 of Wagner Road.
Okay.
And that is actually it for my presentation, unless there are any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, good job.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, next is the presentation on the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant by Claudia. I would try to pronounce your last name, but I'd butcher it.
That's okay, everybody does. So.
Okay, Claudia
evening.
Kershka.
Kershka. Very good.
Right.
Let's pretend like there's an I in there.
I know.
That's okay. I'm going to give you a little rundown on a grant that is on the agenda tonight for approval to go ahead and apply for it. It is a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, which is a 50-50 grant. We've applied for this grant several times. It's what got us the Freedom Trail upgrade. We did just get the grant to update the Freedom Trail restroom on that too. So this is for what we're naming the Park on 66, which is the old lumber yard.
Did we get one of those?
I did not hand it to everybody. It's the same, but I'd be glad to
okay.
send it to you. Yeah. Jerome, does this have a pointer? Nope. Down in the lower hand corner, you'll see it says Phase 1. That is the part of the park that we're going for in this grant. The reason that we're only going for Phase 1 is because everything's very expensive. Amenities for Phase 1 include an artificial turf lawn and open space, an open-air pavilion for farmers market, splash pad and water feature. And the splash pad and water feature, it can be either a full-blown splash pad with all kinds of things coming off, or just a flat area with water that dances. Either way, you could play in the water. So it's going to have a playground with 3 structures, poured-in-place rubber surfacing, and turf play berms with a shade umbrella, restroom and storage facility, serpentine bench seating, a bike rack, and equipment to go with bikes to repair them in case they break down. It will have daily parking, event staging and food truck area, landscaped bed areas, and Yukon signage. This is by no means, this is what we would like to see in that. We don't have the exact plan for it, the design or the engineering. Like I said, it's a 50-50 grant. The Land and Water Conservation grants have been taking a little over a year to be approved at the state level. Like I said, I put the grant in for the restroom in June of last year, just got notified in August of this year that we got it. After that, it gets approved through the state, then I have to send letters to the Oklahoma Historical Society, the Oklahoma Archaeological Society, and 7 Native American tribes to get their okay to proceed with construction. It then goes to the National Park Service for approval, and finally to the President of the United States to sign off on. Then it comes back to the state, and we formally approve it with the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, who oversees the grants.
Wow, no
So
wonder.
you can see,
Yeah. That's
this
why
is
it takes
a
a long time.
long process. Don't throw COVID in there, because then it really messes it up.
Why do the tribes have to approve it? Because we're not
In case-
tribal land.
Because it's any burial grounds or anything that, archives that we might disturb. So the total cost for Phase 1, which is the majority of this park, is estimated at $2,304,080. The grant request that I'm requesting on this grant is $888,000, with city funds from capital improvement of $1,416,280. You might say, well, that's not 50-50. You're right, but the state only gets $4 million a year for the Land and Water Conservation Fund. We really didn't think that they were going to give us a whole $1 million for a park. So I kind of looked and saw what were the big things and just kind of massaged the budget a little bit, and that's where I came up with the $888,000. This would be a fantastic, and I'm sorry that I didn't give you a packet.
That's all right.
But again, it's not set in concrete, but those are some of the things that would be wonderful for downtown. Not only would it bring people downtown for the businesses, but it would make any event that we have downtown, just a restroom downtown, a splash
Yes.
pad. And on this side of town, there really is nothing. We have Bledsoe Park and that's it. So this would be another destination park for the city of Yukon. It would be really wonderful. Any questions?
This has been a dream of mine for several years, probably since I got into office, to see something like this happen. So thank you so much for all the work you did on that grant. I would love to see this come to fruition. It would be such an asset to the downtown area.
And I have to have a public meeting, which we'll have
We'll
later
do it.
on. For this grant, and then they have the resolution and then the permission to go ahead and apply for the grant. And it has to be by September 30th. So,
Oh, not a long
so
time.
it'll be next year at this time that we'll be talking about it again, hopefully.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions, ideas, comments besides yay? Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well, do we have anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right. Then we will recess, come back at 7 o'clock. Meeting adjourned.